Welcome back, and we're here today with Connie Parnell, who is the Election Board Secretary. Hi, Connie.
Hi, Patty.
Well, we've been friends for a long time, and you are very passionate about your job, which is one of the things that I love about you, and you know it very well. You took over from Betty Burchett.
Yes.
When?
Oh, gosh, 17 years ago.
So you've been in, you know, all the ins and the outs.
22 years.
And we have
total.
Oh wow! And we have an exciting year coming up. This is the kind that keep you busy and running and hopping and going a million different directions.
Yes.
Tell us what you've got going on this year.
Well, currently we have a key special bond issue that is coming up on April the 6th, 2010. So just around the corner, and it's a two-proposition election. They're asking for a bond issue to enlarge their school. They want to have a 7th, 8th grade classroom addition and a math and science classroom addition. So, and the second proposition is for transportation. So, you know, they're growing, and so they're out there asking for a bond issue.
And who all will that affect?
Everyone that is registered and is a property owner within that school district.
Okay.
So that's who it's going to affect.
Well, that's good. And we just had an election here for our school board.
Yes.
And I noticed the turnout was rather poor. What are we going to do to get people out there?
Very, you know, a very small turnout that affected. We had 6 entities having an election, and we had less than 2,000 voters. And we have over 28,000 registered voters here in Cherokee County. Granted, not all 28,000 were eligible to vote, but a large part. I had all of my precincts but 2 open. So we had pretty much of a countywide election.
And that's a big expense for the county.
It is a big expense, but the expense is passed off to the schools. They have to pay 100% of their elections.
Well, that's good to know.
So it's a good thing. It's not an expense to us, other than we front the election with the expenses and then the school repays us. But with such low turnout, it's an added expense to hold these elections, to let just a few people come in and make those decisions, when in reality there are a lot of people who are eligible to vote in these elections that we're holding, but just neglect to get out and voice their or exercise their right to vote.
Yeah, it's real disheartening. Sometimes I go early in the morning to vote, or sometimes it'll be after work. But I always like to see how many people before me have voted. So I think, my goodness, is this all that cares that has come out? And this is important. You're exercising your privilege as a citizen to take charge of what's going on in your community.
Well, especially when you're deciding a tax issue. The people that are the recipients of this are the people who are landowners, but if you rent property that's within that school district, that affects that property owner and could possibly affect your rentals. So, you know, people need to realize they need to be a part of the community. This is how they get involved, and voting in an election makes you a part.
And it's just not voting for the president. Actually, what happens in your community affects you almost more directly. The cause and effect, especially on bond issues and such.
Well, and also your local elections are what are important too. The elections we have coming up in July, we have a lot of local representation that is going to be on that ballot. You know, you have your county commissioners, 1 and 3. You have the assessor, your county treasurer. You have your district attorney, our district judge, our associate district judge. They are both going to be on the ballots in this election cycle. We have a lot of things that are directly affecting us. Our representatives, we have 3 current state representatives that will be up for re-election this year. A lot of people need to realize that these are all people that when they need something, this is who they come to. Whether it's to get your road graded by the county commissioner, have your assessed taxes looked at. Maybe they're assessed a little high, maybe they're, you know, to get those in check. Your representatives, if you need something taken care of the state, that's where you're going to go.
So you have a lot to do to get ready for this election coming up.
Yes.
You've got the primary, and so your role in getting people, you need volunteers. How do you get the people to get at the polls?
Well,
help?
as far as the 3 people that you see at the polls are precinct officials. We recruit. We try to get people who are retired or people who have the time of the day to be able to go and sit, because it is a rather long day. You go in about 6:15 a.m. and it's usually 7:30, 8 o'clock when you get to leave at night.
So what is the number to call if they want to check in to possibly being a volunteer to help at the
Precinct
polls?
official?
Yes,
456-2261 is our number, and if you're interested in being a precinct official, it takes a training session. We do that every 2 years, or when we need replacements, I do spot trainings.
Okay.
So,
well, hang around because we've got more to talk about, and we'll be right back.